All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are resuming the docket and we are live on the YouTube channel. This is case number this is case number V 120-21920. Abdul Nassar, Abdulnaser, Alazawi, Alazzawi, and the charge is dog at large. Is Mr. Alazawi in the virtual courtroom? Now, Mr. Alazawi does have an Arabic interpreter. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
And that is Tanya Ganem.
Yes,
And
Your Honor.
will you please give your appearance for the record and allow the court to swear you in? Your name?
Tanya Ganem, Arabic interpreter.
Arabic interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to translate accurately and truthfully from the English language into the Arabic language and from the Arabic language into the English language to the best of your ability?
I will.
Thank you. You may lower your hand. And for the record, will Mr. Alazawi please say your name?
أستاذ أزداوي قول اسمك.
نعم. اسمي عبد الناصر العزاوي.
My name is Abdul Nasser Al-Azdawi.
And who is representing Mr. Alazawi?
In respect for Your Honor, Samer Jadala, P62186, appearing on behalf of Mr. Alazawi. Your Honor, this matter, there's been an offer for 3 months under a delayed sentence. My client is going to avail himself to that plea, and he understands the rights that he is waiving by taking that plea.
إنه المحكمة عطتك عرض إنه يأجلوا المحكمة ل3 أشهر وقبلت بهذا العرض.
All right, thank you. Mr. Alazawi, you have heard the representation of your lawyer. Are you in agreement with that representation?
أستاذ العزاوي هلأ المحامي تبعك قدم وتكلم فأنت موافق على هالشي؟
نعم.
Yes.
And Mr. Alazawi, you understand, sir, you have the right to a trial.
وأنت عارف إنه حق من حقوقك إنه تسوي محكمة؟
ما أريد محكمة. ماكو شيء رجاء بليز. الموضوع يخلص لأنه يعني بس.
I just want that issue to be done with.
Mr. Alazawi, I understand, sir, but if you are going to accept this plea offer, you have to be able to tell the court that you are guilty of the charge.
يعني عارفين هالشيء أستاذ العزاوي بس إنه إذا أنت موافق على العرض اللي عطوك إياه هون بدك تقول إنك أنت إيه نعم مذنب بالنسبة للتهمة.
نعم.
Will you be able to do that?
فقادر تعمل هالشيء؟
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I cannot take a plea from someone who just tells me they want to get it over with.
يعني ما فيها تاخد الأقوال من شخص بيقول لها إنه بدي خلص من القضية.
You understand, sir?
فاهم هالشي؟
نعم أنا بموافقتي نعم yes.
Yes,
All right.
I do agree.
Okay. All right, sir. You understand that you have the right to have an in-person trial today, is that correct?
أنت عارف حق من حقوقك إنه أنت تسوي محكمة شخصياً. عارف هالشي؟
No ما أعرف.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Mr. Jadala?
Yes, ma'am.
You were not able to give Mr. Alazawi his rights, sir?
I did go over his rights, Your Honor, and I believe hearing him in a different way, he's kind of nervous, but he understands that he's waiving those rights that you are articulating to him, and he does want to take the plea today. He understands he has those rights, Judge, and if I believe if you ask him one more time, he will be able to let you know that he understands those rights and he is waiving those rights.
Okay, Madam Interpreter, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Please tell Mr. Alazawi what was just said by his attorney.
القاضي سألت المحامي إذا تكلم معك بالنسبة لحقوقك وإذا أنت رح تتنازل عنهم حتى تكفي القضية. فالمحامي جاوبها إنه هو تكلم معك وقال لك إنه هولي حقوقك عم تتنازل عنهم حتى تقول إنك مذنب وتكفي بالقضية، ففسر لك إياهم هولي. فرجع المحامي قال له إذا بتسأليه بعد مرة لأنك متعصب شوي أو قاعد على أعصابك، فمشان هيك إنه فإذا بترجع بتسألك القاضي مرة ثانية إنه رح تعرف إنه المحامي فسر لك إنك عم تتنازل عن حقوقك، نعم، ولحتى تكفي بالقضية. Yes.
Did Mr. Alazawi, did Mr. Jadala, your attorney, Mr. Alazawi, explain your rights to you in the Arabic language so that you could understand?
هل أستاذ جاد الله فسر لك أستاذ عزاوي حقوقك بالعربي لحتى تفهمهم؟
نعم.
Yes.
Are you voluntarily agreeing to participate on the Zoom proceeding today?
وأنت تطوعا يعني من تلقاء نفسك أنت موافق أنك تتشارك معنا بالمحكمة بالزوم اليوم من تلقاء نفسك؟
أكيد من تلقاء نفسي، نعم. Yes.
Yes, at my own will. Yes.
Did anyone force you, promise you anything or threaten you in exchange for your plea today?
في أي حد وعدك بأي شيء أو جبرك أو هددك إنك أنت تقول الأقوال اللي عم تقولها؟ في أي حد سوى هالشيء؟
No.
No. No.
Are you pleading guilty of your own free will?
يعني عم تقول إنك مذنب من تلقاء نفسك؟
نعم.
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
عم بتقول إنك مذنب لأنك أنت مذنب؟
إيه نعم.
Yes.
Please raise your right hand and be sworn.
عمول معروف على إيدك اليمين لا تحلف اليمين.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief?
بتحلف يمين إنه الأقوال اللي عم بتقولهم هن الحقيقة حسب المعتقدات والمعرفة اللي عندك إياهم؟
نعم.
Yes.
You may lower your hand.
فيك تنزل إيدك.
Mr. Alazawi.
أستاذ العزاوي.
On the date, the time, and the location indicated in the ticket ending in 21920, were you in the city of Detroit?
بالتاريخ والوقت والعنوان والرقم المخالفة اللي هي بتخلص ب 21920، أنت كنت موجود بمنطقة ديترويت، مدينة ديترويت؟ Yes.
Do you own a dog, sir?
وأنت بتمتلك كلب؟
نعم.
Yes.
What kind of dog?
أي نوع كلب؟
German Shepherd.
German Shepherd.
And on the date and the time and the location in the city of Detroit indicated in the ticket, did you have that German Shepherd dog out without a leash?
والتاريخ والوقت والمكان يلي موجودين على المخالفة، أنت كان عندك الجيرمان الشابرد الكلب تبعك كان موجود برا من دون أي حبل أو رابط، ليش؟ Yes.
Are you pleading guilty to dog at large?
وانت عم بتقول انك مذنب انه الكلب كان مفلوت بحرية.
نعم.
Yes.
Are you satisfied, Mr. Jadala?
I'm satisfied, Your Honor.
عم تسأل أستاذ جد الله إذا راضي على شيء. نعم راضي على شيء.
All right, the court will accept the guilty plea, being satisfied with the factual basis.
يعني حسب الأمور اللي انعطت المحكمة قبلت بال
Mr. Alazawi, have you ever been charged with this offense before?
أستاذ على الزاوية شي مرة متهم بهذه القضية من قبل نفس القضية؟
No.
No.
Okay.
Excuse me, Judge.
Yes.
Yes, sorry, this is Investigator Summerfield. I have not been able to speak.
I'm sorry, Investigator Summerville. I should have had you put your appearance on the record before this. Please forgive me. That was oversight.
Oh, okay. This is the first time I've done a Zoom court case, so I wasn't sure. But if I could just say a few words.
Please.
Okay, so this was Mr. Alazawi's first offense with the dog. It was an accident. The garage was accidentally left open and the dog ran out. He's had no further incidences with the dog. I do believe him to be a responsible dog owner.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to ask the interpreter to just repeat as best she can what you said.
المفتشة قالت لأنه أنا موجودة هون وما صار عندي مجال إنه أتكلم، فاعتذرت منه القاضية. فسامرفيلد هي المفتشة قالت إنه ما بتعتقد إنه كان في مخالفة من قبل، وبتعتقد إنك أنت صاحب كلب مسؤول، وبتعتقد إنه كان الجراج مفتوح، فمشان هيك يعني صار في مثل يعني حادثة إنه كان مفتوح يعني بالغلط. وبتعتقد إنك أنت صاحب كلب مسؤول.
Thank you. So, Investigator Somerville, there was no incident. The dog didn't attack anyone or.
Judge, there was a minor bite on a child that happened to be running by. So that is the reason I did write the ticket. The bite was minor and the defendant did go through all procedures for the quarantine and was very cooperative.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Interpreter.
عم تسأل القاضي إذا في أي كان أضرار وقت انفلت الكلب. قالت لهم بلا، كان في ولد مارق ونعض، إنه العضة كانت كتير صغيرة، وكمان تسوى الأمور يلي لازم تتسوى بالنسبة شو الأمور اللي بتتابع هذه الأمور، ونحط يعني سويت الأمور المفروضة.
Thank you. Mr. Jadala, is there a recommendation from the prosecutor?
Your Honor, it was just that this be taken under a delayed sentence, Your Honor, when we ask you follow that.
All right, sir.
تسأل أستاذ جد الله إذا في أي عرض من المدعي العام. قال لها إنه بس يكون في تأخير بالمحكمة، وأخذنا هيدا بعين الاعتبار.
And Mr. Jadala, was there a length of time recommended by the prosecutor?
3 months, Judge.
وسألت قديش كانت الفترة يلي المدعي العام عطتكم إياها. جوابها 3 أشهر.
All right, thank you. The court is going to follow that recommendation.
المحكمة رح تتابع هيدي التوصيات. Hello?
Yes.
Your Honor?
I don't know what happened, guys. 1 second.
Seguimos esperando. Ok, Luis, algo pasó con la señora juez.
Okay.
It looks like the judge cut off. Everybody just be patient. The judge should be coming back.
صار منهم.
The judge is trying to log back on.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Ya va a regresar el juez, ok. La juez.
Okay.
Okay, Attorney Simon.
Yes.
Okay, while we're waiting, are you the attorney for Edwina Poco?
No, I'm here for Brandon Anthony.
Because we have you on the docket as you being his attorney. Were you ever his attorney?
What's the name again?
Livingston. Edwina Poco Livingston.
Doesn't sound familiar. How long ago?
I don't know. We have you on the docket as his attorney.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Well, Mr. Simon, this is the prosecutor Morgan. Can you go into a breakout room and talk to him just to see if that was your client at one time? Because I don't understand why your name would be on the docket sheet.
Yeah, okay. Well, sometimes
And we-
wrong P numbers are in there, but
And Mr. Simon, we do have several officers here for that case, and we need to move that along.
Edwina Livingston?
No, his first name is Livingston, and his last name is hyphenated. It is, his last name is, I'm looking for it now.
Edwini Poku, P-O-K-U.
Yeah, that starts with an A, Adwini, A-D-W-I-N-I, hyphen, P-O-K-U. If you have the docket sheet, he's under 9 o'clock a.m.
No, I've never heard that name before, but I'll take a look at it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sure.
Is he still logged in? I didn't see him on the participants.
Officer, are you talking about Mr. Adwini Poku?
Yes, sir.
He just, I think I just heard him speak, so he's on here somewhere.
Yeah, he's logged on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry about that. I have no idea what happened. None whatsoever. But I will apologize. We got an interruption in our connection. We are still on the live stream. I believe that we were in the midst of taking we took Mr. Abdallah's plea, and we were in the midst of sentencing him, I believe. And
That is correct, Judge.
we are going to accept a 3-month delayed sentence, and we appreciate the investigators' input, Ms. Somerville. And so we will give you reduced fines and costs for that, Mr. Abdallah. So if you would, Madam Interpreter,
Yes.
let him know.
رح ياخدوا كانوا عم بتسوي لك الحكم، ورح يقبلوا ب3 أشهر، وبتقدر كمان التعليمات من المفتشة مس سمر. You may continue, Your Honor.
So the sentence is delayed for 3 months if he has no new instances of this nature, and he pays $150 total fines and costs. The court can dismiss this case after 3 months.
يعني إذا ما بيكون في من هلأ ل3 أشهر أي مشاكل من نفس النوعية، وبتدفع $150، بعد 3 أشهر بيلغوا القضية عن السجل تبعك.
Are there any questions?
عندك أي سؤال؟
No, thank you so much.
Also,
No, thank you.
Alazawi.
Yes.
Do you need more than 30 days to pay?
تريد بدك أكثر من 30 يوم لحتى تدفع؟
أنا أدفعها هسه حاليا اليوم أدفع تشك يعني بس ما أعرف وين أدفعها.
I can pay it today, but I don't know where to pay it.
All right, so the clerk would like you to give her at least 24 hours before you pay, so that she can get the information into the computer system.
يعني بدك تعطي الموظفة 24 ساعة قبل ما يدخلوا المعلومات بالسجل بالملف تبعك، يعني بدك 24 ساعة، ما فيك تدفعها قبل.
Okay, no problem.
And because of COVID, you must pay online now. That is the only alternative for payment. So you can pay online at 36. You can pay online at 36districtcourt.org. That's 36 with the TH, districtcourt.org, or you can pay online on the DivDat app. And that's for everyone. Everyone who's going to be responsible for fines and costs, we just have those 2 options. They are no longer allowing you inside the 36th District Court because of the COVID nature.
بسبب الكورونا ما فيك تجي شخصيا وتدفع بالمحكمة، فمشان هيك بدك تدفعها أونلاين على الكمبيوتر، أو بتروح على الموقع الإلكتروني تبعهم يلي هي 36 مع TH districtcourt.org، أو على التطبيق يلي هو الآب يلي هو اسمه DivDav. هيدي بيطبق لكل الجميع، ما بقى فيك تجي شخصيا وتدفع.
All right, and you will not have to come back unless you have a new charge of this nature in the 3-month period.
يعني ما بقى بترجع على المحكمة إلا إذا كان عندك مخالفة من نفس النوع.
Or your fines have not been paid.
أو في حال ما دفعت المخالفة.
Okay. Inshallah.
Sir, you may disconnect if you have no other questions, Mr. Jadala. Sir, do you have any questions for your client? Okay, I know this took extremely long and I'm sorry about that, but when you have translation, I don't know any way to avoid it. So thank you.
I appreciate all your efforts, Judge. May you and your staff have a wonderful day.
فيك خلص تخلص وتطلع من
Your Honor, what was his fine?
$150.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor, and have a good day.
Thank you so much. Mr. Bassi, are you ready with your client, sir?
Yes, I am ready.
And Mr. Bassi, I hope the police officer Martinez is not still on the Zoom connection. If he is, I'm going to release him at this time because Mr. Aoun is taking the plea. Is that right, sir?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, the court will call Mr. Aoun, Mr. Issa Aoun. The case number is SP 1108-7321, Issa Aoun, and the charge is loitering. Is Mr. Issa Aoun in the courtroom? If so, please say your name for the record.
Issa Ayun.
Thank you, Mr. Aoun. Who's representing Mr. Aoun?
Good morning, Your Honor. Hassan Bazi, P78448, on behalf of Mr. Aoun, who just stated his name on the record. We'll waive our rights to be present in court and proceed over Zoom.
Thank you. Mr. Bazi, how do you wish to proceed with Mr. Aoun today?
Judge, my client is prepared to plead guilty as charged under HIDA.
All right, Mr. Aoun, you've heard the representation of your lawyer. Are you in agreement with that representation?
Yes, I am.
Sir, do you understand your right to a trial?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Aoun, I need you to connect with your video.
Sorry about that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Aoun, you understand that if you were to have a trial, it would take place in person in the 36th District Court, but because of the pandemic, the courthouse is closed to the public, and so you have agreed to participate on the Zoom technology today. Is that right?
Yes, I do.
Sir, did you have an opportunity to speak to your attorney about all of your rights?
I did.
Did anyone?
I finished with him. I did that. The attorney, I read it and he knows the offer.
Okay, is that, I think that's our own prosecutor who's given us that background, please. All right, Mr. Aoun, did anyone threaten you, force you, or promise you anything in exchange for your plea?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, are you pleading guilty of your own free will?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
You understand that by pleading guilty, you are waiving or giving up your right to a trial. Is that right?
Yes.
Sir, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Aoun, on the date, the time, and the location indicated in the ticket ending in 87321, were you in the city of Detroit, sir?
Yes, I was.
And where were you, Mr. Aoun?
I was in a parking lot
Where?
in Detroit on Plymouth Road, I'm pretty sure.
And were you loitering in that parking lot, sir? What were
Yes,
you
sir.
doing?
I was with some friends and we were lighting up fireworks.
All right. Mr. Bassi, are you satisfied?
I'm satisfied, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Aoun, the court will accept the guilty plea, being satisfied with the factual basis. We will also accept the recommendation to delay your sentence for a period of 3 months under HIDA, which will allow this charge to be dismissed at the end of that 3-month period and not in your record. Because of your age and your existing record, the prosecutor has offered you this opportunity. Mr. Aoun, how old are you?
Now I'm 18, but when it happened, I was 17.
Okay, are you a student?
Yes.
Where do you go to school?
I do online with the
Okay.
Step Up Academy.
Where?
It's Step Up Academy.
What are you studying?
I'm still in high school.
Okay, all right, so what grade are you?
I'm a senior. I'm in 12th grade.
Okay, and then what are you gonna do?
I'm planning on going to college, probably studying business.
Okay, all right, you wanna be very careful about your record, Mr. Aoun, and what happens as a result of decisions that you make. And I know you're young, and I know, you know, young people do things sometimes that have consequences that are unintended, but you want to be very careful about that, especially in this day and age, sir, because bad things can happen at the wrong place at the wrong time. The court is going to as we say, accept the 3-month delayed sentence under HIDA. And have you ever been charged with this offense before, Mr.
No, never.
Okay, sir. We're going to reduce your fine as well, $100. We will give you 30 days to pay. Do you need more time than that?
No, I could pay today if that's fine.
Okay, we need you to at least wait 24 hours so that the clerk can get the information into the system. But we will accept the reduced payment of $100, sir, and we do not require that you return unless that fine has not been paid or you have a new charge of this nature in the 3-month period of the delayed sentence. Any questions, Mr. Bazzi? On behalf of your client or Mr. Aoun? Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, gentlemen, you may disconnect from the hearing. Thank you. All
All right.
right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, sir. Too.
Thank you, Judge.
And the court has Mr. Friedman, Mr. Bradley Freeman, and your client, sir, is Darius Anderson. Is that right, Mr. Friedman? Mr. Friedman, did I lose you? Darius Anderson. Did we
Yeah,
lose?
I'm still here.
Did we lose Mr. Friedman?
I don't see him on here.
Madam Clerk,
Yes, Your Honor.
did Mr. Friedman get kicked out for some reason?
I don't know, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Darius Anderson, I'm going to give your attorney.
He's on here, Your Honor. He may have stepped away.
Oh, he's
still
on there?
here. Yeah, he's on here. There he is.
Mr. Friedman? I don't hear you, sir. Can you unmute yourself?
He might have us on mute, but he's there.
All right, Mr. Anderson. We previously read your case numbers into the record, but we will read them again. SP 1074971, Darius Darren Anderson. Failure to provide proof of insurance. And SP 1074971, same defendant, limited access 1 to 5 miles over the speed limit. Mr. Anderson also had additional matters that were identified as scheduled for this afternoon's arraignment docket, but we are going to incorporate or add those matters to the morning charges. Mr. Anderson, you're charged with SP 11252201. That charge is no operator's license on person. SP 11252161, expired plates, and count 2 of that same ticket, no proof of insurance. Again, Mr. Anderson, please say your name for the record. Unmute yourself, Mr. Anderson, and give me your name, sir, for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Darius Duran Anderson.
Thank you. And now do we have Mr. Friedman available for his appearance? Mr. Friedman. You still see him, Madam Clerk? I do not.
He's on, Your Honor. He's just doing something else.
Well,
he's not paying attention.
I don't
Your
know.
Honor, we can go to the next defendant because he's not even paying attention. So
okay, I don't know. Maybe if you remove him, he'll try to sign back in or something. Okay, Mr. Anderson, I'm sorry, sir. We were ready for you, but your attorney's not ready for us. So we will recall when we can get his attention, okay?
Okay.
All right, sir, just have a little patience. This
Okay, no
is
problem.
George Tabb. George Tabb.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Hawkins, are you going to be ready with George Tabb, ma'am?
Yes, Judge, we're ready for Judge George Tapp.
Okay, the court's going to call Mr. Tabb's case number as soon as we find it. Was he from our arraignment docket?
I don't recall looking at the docket and seeing what he was scheduled for.
I'm not seeing his
No, Your
name.
Honor, George Tabb is scheduled for a trial.
Okay, let me see if I can find his name. I don't.
He's on page 3 up under 9 o'clock.
Okay, Mr. Tabb, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Case number
welcome.
204-940-291, George Tabb, and the charge is no operator's license on person. The court is also going to call Denisha Thomas. Did we already did Denisha Thomas, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So George Tabb, is that the only dismissal, Ms. Hawkins, that you have remaining?
Yes, Judge.
All right, Ms. Hawkins, your appearance for the record.
Shakira Hawkins on behalf of George Tabb. Sir, state your name for the record.
George Tabb Sr.
Thank
Your
you.
Honor,
How do you wish to proceed?
Your Honor, the people, Mr. Tabb has valid documentation. I believe the people have made a recommendation for dismissal. We'd ask the court to adopt that recommendation.
So ordered. Mr. Tabb, your matter is dismissed, sir. Pursuant to the prosecutor's recommendation, Madam Clerk, does Mr. Tabb have a mandatory reinstatement fee?
Yes, Your Honor, $45.
Okay, Mr. Tabb, you do have to pay that mandatory reinstatement fee. That's the Secretary of State's requirement.
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
pay it through the 36th District Court, however.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
online. Okay. Any questions, Mr. Tabb?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir, you may disconnect. Thank you so much. Thank you for your
Thank
patience.
you. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Ms. Hawkins. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right, Ms. Hawkins, is Mr. Thick ready? Is Mr. Thick going to get a trial date?
Yes, Judge.
U 569-15020, Paul Edward Thick, Thieke, and the charge is narcotic drug violation. If Mr. Thick is in the virtual courtroom, please say your name for the record.
Paul Ticky.
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 I'm sorry, Mr. Ticky.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, how do you would, for the record, your, Madam House Counsel, your appearance.
Shakira Hawkins on behalf of the defendant. Your Honor, the defendant wishes to continue his not guilty plea and is requesting a trial date in this matter.
So ordered, Mr. Tiki, we will continue your not guilty plea. We will give you the bench trial date of, is it going to be June 14, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Your Honor.
June 14, 2021, 9 a.m., sir. It will be a Zoom connection the same way it is today. We will continue your personal bond, which means you do not have to pay any money, but you must return for your trial on June 14. Any questions, Mr. Tiki?
No, Your Honor, I think that'll do it. June 14th, 9 a.m.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
You may disconnect.
Okay, thanks.
And Ms. Hawkins, is everyone else that you have ready a plea?
Yes, Judge.
All right, then the court is calling Jimmy Teener. Jimmy Teener, T-E-N-N-E-R. And that is case number. Let me see, Mr. Teener. Was that from, oh, it was from this morning. That case number is 194097691. Jimmy Lee Teener, and the charge is no operator's license on person. And count 2 is driving an unregistered or untitled vehicle. Is Mr. Teener in the virtual courtroom? If so, please say your name for the record.
Yes, ma'am. Jimmy Lee Tenor.
All right, Mr. Tenor. Who's representing Mr. Tenor?
Shakira Hawkins on behalf of the defendant. Your Honor, Mr. Tenor wishes to avail himself of the recommendation.
Which is?
To plead guilty, I believe, as charged to no operator's license on person, and no registration would be dismissed.
All right, so the ticket that he's pleading to ends in 97691, is that correct?
I didn't write down the case numbers, but it would be count 1.
All right.
I think they were on the same ticket.
Mr. Tiner, you've heard the representation of your lawyer. Are you in agreement with that representation?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, do you understand your right to a trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you advised that if you were to have that trial, it would normally take place in the 36th District Court, but because of the pandemic, the courthouse is closed to the public.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you've agreed to participate on the Zoom technology today, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, did your attorney advise you of all of your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did anyone threaten you, force you, or promise you anything in exchange for your plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty of your own free will?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you are actually guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you understand that by pleading guilty, you are waiving or giving up your rights to a trial, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And knowing that you're giving up those rights, you still wish to go forward with your plea, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Please lower your hand. And Mr. Tiner, on the date, the time, and the location indicated in the ticket ending in 97691, were you in the city of Detroit?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you stopped by a police officer who asked you for a valid license?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you able to give that officer a license?
I was not.
All right. Ms. Hawkins, are you satisfied?
Satisfied.
The court will accept the guilty plea, being satisfied with the factual basis. Madam Clerk, do you have a total for Mr. Tiner?
Yes, Your Honor. $240 for the plea. He has a total of 2 reinstatement fees of $90. The total is $330, and Mr. Tiner posted a $200 bond.
All right, sir, thank you. We can apply your $200 bond. Your balance is $130. Do you need more than 30 days to pay?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir, 30 days to pay. You may disconnect from the hearing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I have another interpreter here, and I apologize because I meant to call my interpreters before now. Mr. Andre Luna Luis, is that right? Andrea Luna.
Luis Andrade Luna, Your Honor.
Excuse me. Sorry. I am sorry.
No problem, Your Honor.
Okay, sir, let me find your.
Under 835, Your Honor, page 2.
Okay, all right. Mr. Interpreter and Mr. I think it's Caracas?
Cáceres.
Cáceres. I need you to say your name for the record and be sworn, please. ¿Cómo se llama usted?
Ricardo Cáceres, C-A-C-E-R-E-S, Spanish interpreter.
Thank you, sir. Would you raise your right hand and be sworn? Do you swear or affirm that you will accurately, honestly, and truthfully translate from English to Spanish and from Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
I do.
All right, sir. Thank you. You may lower your hand. And I need you to, going forward, say everything that is said regarding this case to Mr. Andreda Luna. I don't know if Mr. Andreda Luna heard the courts say that the charge is driving while unlicensed.
No estoy seguro si el señor Andrade Luna escuchó que la acusación es de manejar sin tener una licencia válida.
Sí.
¿Escuchaste?
Who is representing Mr. Andreda Luna?
¿Quién te está representando?
No tengo representante.
I have nobody representing me.
Ms. Hawkins, are you representing this defendant for the record? Ms. Shakira Hawkins, will you represent Mr. Andrea Luna?
Yes, Judge. Shakira
All
Hawkins
right.
on behalf of the defendant.
How are we proceeding with Mr. Andrea Luna? Was he
Your Honor,
given an offer?
he did get an offer, Your Honor. The people are recommending dismissal of, I believe it was count 1, and he had another matter, but that one was already closed.
All right, so this matter is being dismissed?
Yes, Judge. That was my understanding. I didn't see the offer, but that's what the clerk conveyed.
La abogada defensora que te nombraron, la señora Hawkins, habló aparentemente con el fiscal y ellos estaban recomendando que se descartara la acusación en tu contra.
Sí.
Y ese es el entendimiento que tienen.
The court will follow that recommendation and dismiss this matter pursuant to the prosecutor's recommendation. Is there a bond? I'm sorry, is there a mandatory Secretary of State fee? Madam Clerk.
One moment, Your Honor.
So, Madam Interpreter, you can tell him that I'm asking whether there is any money that is required as the mandatory Secretary of State fee that he has to pay.
No, there is not, Your Honor.
There is no mandatory fee.
No.
All right.
Can I interpret now, Your Honor?
Please, thank you.
Debido a que por recomendación del fiscal tu caso está siendo descartado, la señora juez consultó con la secretaria del tribunal si había una multa mandatoria por parte del Estado a pagarse. Y la respuesta es no, no hay nada que pagar. Por lo tanto, la señora jueza va a descartar la acusación en tu contra.
Muy bien.
Very good.
All right, thank you so much, sir. And forgive me again for the error. Me duele la cabeza.
De nuevo, muchas gracias por tu paciencia y también por el error que ella cometió al no atendernos anteriormente. Pero es que me duele la cabeza.
See, now you think I can speak Spanish, so you're going. Muy mucho, muy mucho. Thank you so much. You may disconnect.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ya estuvo, ok. Desconecta.
Gracias, you may disconnect.
Muy bien.
Can I leave
All
you,
right.
Your Honor?
You're welcome, sir. The court is calling Tamiko Tolliver. Tamiko Tolliver. And Tamiko Tolliver, your case number is, Ms. Tolliver was from this morning, correct? Tamika Tolliver, SP 108-29421. Tamika Tolliver, and the charge is open alcohol in a motor vehicle passenger. Is Ms. Tamika Tolliver in the virtual courtroom? If so, please say your name for the record.
Tamika Tolliver.
Thank you.
Shakira
Who's
Hawkins
representing Ms. Tolliver?
Shakira Hawkins on behalf of the defendant. Your Honor, Ms. Tolliver wishes to avail herself of the recommendation, and we wish to be heard as to sentencing.
Thank you. Officer Jones, I see is still on the Zoom screen. Who is Officer Jones?
He was here for Al Haq, and Mr. Al Haq is taking the offer, Judge. He at first said he was going to go to trial, but he's since changed his mind and he wants to take advantage of the plea.
Okay, I just want to make sure so that I can allow that officer to leave. Officer Jones, if you want to leave, sir, I understand that the defendant is taking the office, so we'll release you. I appreciate your being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we are,
Your Honor, I don't mean to speak up, but I know that you tried to call Darius Anderson. I got dragged off on another Zoom because
we'll come back to you, sir. We're in the midst of Ms. Tolliver. As soon as we finish, we will come back to Mr. Anderson, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Ms. Tolliver, Ms. Tolliver, you've heard the representation of your lawyer. Are you in agreement with that representation?
Of pleading guilty.
Yes, that's what your lawyer said. Are you in agreement with that? Can you make
Yes.
yourself visual? Can you come on the
I'm not
video?
on the. It been off the thing so long. I can't go to the. I gotta go back in the app and join again. Let me see if I can do that. And I'm laying down because I just got the hospital.
Well, please get up, please. If you can, just sit up, Ms.
I
Tolliver.
can get up. I got a respiratory.
Pardon? You're on a respirator. What did you say?
No, I said I have a ruptured kidney.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's why I wasn't.
I'm sorry to hear that, Ms. Tolliver. This is going to be just a minute.
Okay, I'm still trying to.
That says connecting to audio. Can you say connect to video? Ms. Tolliver, connect to video. While we're doing that, ma'am, were you advised of your right to a trial?
Yes.
If we were to have a trial, Ms. Tolliver, rather, that trial would take place in person in the 36th District Court, but because of the pandemic, the court is closed to the public, so you have agreed to participate on the Zoom technology. Is that correct?
Correct.
Ms. Tolliver, did your attorney have the opportunity to advise you of all your rights?
Yes.
Where did you go? I see you up here. Do I see you, Ms. Tolliver? What happened to you?
Where did I go? Where?
I can't see you now. I see you. Okay, ma'am, did anyone threaten you, promise you anything, or force you to plead today?
No.
Are you pleading guilty of your own free will?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
You understand that by pleading guilty, you are giving up or waiving your right to a trial.
Yes.
And knowing that you're waiving your right to a trial, you wish to go forward with a guilty plea. Is that right?
Correct.
Ms. Tolliver, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
You may lower your hand, ma'am, on the date, the time, and the location indicated in the ticket ending in 29421. Were you a passenger in a vehicle in the city of Detroit?
Yes.
And was there open alcohol in that vehicle?
Yes, it was.
And it was the open alcohol yours?
No, it wasn't.
All right, this matter is being set for trial. The court can't accept the plea with the information that has been given. There is no factual basis for the court to accept the plea. We
Your
are
Honor.
allowing you to withdraw that plea,
Your
and
Honor.
this matter is being set for trial.
Your Honor, this is the
I gave
prosecutor.
everybody in the car a ticket
Your Honor, this is the
for
prosecutor.
the same thing.
Yes,
There's,
Mr. Prosecutor.
there's one question that could be.
Excuse me, 1 minute,
asked.
sir. Excuse
Yes,
me,
yes.
1 minute. No. I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
Okay, I was going to say that there may be one question that could help the situation. Who was the driver of the vehicle?
Who was the driver? Well,
If the defendant was the driver of the vehicle, then I would say the plea can go forward.
she was not, according to the ticket. According to what I have, were you the driver of the vehicle, ma'am?
No, she was a wait. Ma'am, were you the passenger or the driver?
Can't hear.
Miss Tolliver,
Yes.
were you the passenger or the driver in the vehicle?
I was the passenger. I was in the back seat.
Okay.
He gave everybody in the car open and talking tickets.
All right, so I'm going to, as we say, set this matter for trial. That is why I do not like to, on arraignments, take pleas, because there's too much information that doesn't come through.
I'm saying, however it go, we take it to trial. who's gonna prove it's alcohol? If it's open alcohol and it's everybody in the car,
Well, the reason we
everybody got
have
the same
it,
ticket, why can't I take a plea?
because if it was not your alcohol, which you said it was not, then the charge is inappropriate. You said it was not, and you were not the driver. If you're the driver, there is a different standard, because the driver is assumed to have knowledge of anything illegal that goes on in the driver's vehicle. But the passenger does not have that same liability. So,
Your
Ms.
Honor,
Tolliver, I cannot take a plea from someone who tells me they aren't guilty.
one other question.
Don't get angry with me, ma'am, and don't
Hold
get
on.
an attitude with me. I know you're ill, so I'm going to chalk that up to your having just gotten out of the hospital.
Your
But
Honor,
this
this is the
is not a
prosecutor.
good day.
Your Honor, this is the prosecutor. One other thing that could help.
But
I understand.
okay, how long was trial supposed to take?
This is the prosecutor. One other question that could help with the factual
Ms.
basis.
Tolliver. Too many people speaking at once. Mr. Prosecutor, what are you trying to say?
One question that could help. I heard some of the facts that came out in the when she tried to lay the foundation for this ticket. The one question was she drinking any of the alcohol that was in the vehicle? They might have shared the alcohol. In that case, then the
I
police could
think
go forward.
those are all questions of fact that are better taken at a trial. That's why when I take a plea, I want all that to be clear to the defendant. I don't want to ask those questions at an arraignment when somebody says they want to take a plea. When you take a plea for this court at an arraignment, you must be able to tell me you are guilty of the charge against you. If you tell me anything else, if I have to make inquiry, then I have to give the complaining witness an opportunity to give their side of the story. Because then if she says no, Mr. Morgan, then the police officer is not here to give his view or her view. So I don't want to do that. If there's a question of fact, then I want the trier of fact to hear both sides of the story. So, Ms. Tolliver, we are giving you a trial date on which to return. That date is June 14, 2021 at 9 a.m. You have a personal bond. I'm sorry we were not able to do this, but you don't want the court to take a guilty plea for someone who says they are not guilty. I will not do that. My oath and my judicial ethics will not let me do that. So please come back on June 14th. I thank you. Now, we just have two more matters before we can exit this live stream. I do have to break for lunch. So if we don't get through this, I'm gonna have to come back this afternoon because the chief judge has required the court to allow the staff to take their lunch break. So let's try to do as much as we can. And by 12:30, I have to let the staff have a lunch break so that they can come back for the afternoon docket, which we also have. I will just have those persons who have not been heard this morning come back in the afternoon. Attorney Bradley, you were not here for Mr. Anderson, so I am going to recall that case.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Anderson has been here all morning, and the court is recalling. Let me see. Darren Anderson. The cases were previously called into the record, and we did combine the matters that were scheduled for this afternoon's docket for Mr. Darren Anderson. If Mr. Anderson is still in the courtroom, sir, please give your name for the record.
Darius
Duran
yes.
Anderson, correct?
Anderson, yes.
Okay, Madam Court Reporter, do you need me to read all of those tickets again?
No, I don't, Judge. I have it.
Thank you very much. Who's representing Mr. Anderson?
Your Honor, Bradley Friedman on behalf of Mr. Anderson.
And Mr. Friedman, how are we proceeding with Mr. Anderson?
Okay, Judge. Relative to The cases that were set for trial and formal hearing this morning, those being SP 107-49771 for no proof of insurance and SP 107-49751 for speeding. I'm moving the court to dismiss both of those charges due to the fact that the people cannot proceed on them.
It is so ordered. Both matters are dismissed without prejudice for lack of a complaining witness. It means that the people may bring them again. The court is merely dismissing them because the officer has failed to appear. As to the remaining matters.
Judge, I don't have ticket numbers, but my client, I believe there's two separate cases. One has 3 citations on it and the other has 1. My client's going to plead to, I think it's no proper licensing registration certificate. I think it's what it's called. It's count 3 on one of the tickets. And the remaining charges are all going to be dismissed. So he's pleading to a civil infraction.
No valid registration, Mr. Prosecutor. Is that a civil infraction?
Wait, Your Honor, I will give you that in 1 second.
That is ticket number SP 112-52163, count 3. That
No
ticket
valid
had-
registration. Yes, I believe that's what it is. SP 112-52163. That was the charge that he was going to plead responsible to.
Okay,
That's
so
a
that
civil
is a
infraction.
civil infraction.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and all the other matters are being dismissed.
All the other ones for the afternoon are being dismissed. The 2 for the morning,
We already dismissed those.
yeah, that was upon the defense counsel's motion.
All right, so thank you, Mr. Darius Anderson. Sir, the court does not need the same assurances on the civil infraction that we had to go through. We don't need to swear you in for the civil infraction. So we merely need your plea of responsible to the charge of no valid registration. So on the date and the time indicated in the ticket ending in 252163, Mr. Darius Anderson, were you driving a motor vehicle in the city of Detroit?
Yes, I was.
And so were you stopped by a police officer who asked you for valid registration?
Yes.
And so you're pleading responsible because you did not have that valid registration.
Correct, yes.
All right. Mr. Friedman, are you satisfied?
Yes, Your Honor.
As is the court, we will accept the responsible plea. Madam Clerk, do you have a total for Mr.? Oh, I'm sorry. And we will dismiss the remaining matters previously read into the record. Madam Clerk, do you have a total for Mr. Anderson for that civil infraction?
He just owes $90 for the responsible plea.
$90, Mr. Anderson, and if you can pay that in 14 days, that's the time frame for a civil infraction. Is that enough time for you, sir?
3 months, yes.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. No, $90, but 14 days to pay.
Oh, I'm sorry, 14 days. Let me look on the calendar. Hold on a second.
We can give you more time if you need it. You need 30 days?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I have June 3rd?
We'll give you 30 days to pay.
It's a civil infraction. It would default after the 14 days.
Okay.
It's in default?
It will default after the 14 days. It's a civil infraction.
If he doesn't pay it in 14 days, it's going to go into default. Can I give him 30 days? Can I extend it?
May 3rd? Something like that?
Can we extend it, Madam Clerk?
I don't believe for a civil infraction, but if you say 30 days.
Okay. Hopefully it won't be a problem, sir. We'll give you 30 days.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Anderson, make sure you pay it though, because you don't want it to go into default. Then it's more money and trauma that you don't need.
No problem. I will pay it.
All right, sir. Thank you for your patience. Mr. Friedman, thank you.
Thank
You
you, Your
may
Honor.
disconnect from the hearing.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Now, Tamika Taliber, we've taken Laquita Ivy. Laquita Ivy. I have
Yes.
Laquita Ivy and I have Al Haq. Are those the remaining two people?
And
Yes,
Christina
Judge.
Taylor, Judge. Christina Taylor as well.
Okay, I don't know. Madam
Also,
Clerk.
Shakayla Taylor.
Okay.
I did
I
not
don't
talk
know
to
if
Shakayla.
we're going to be able to do all of that before I have to give the staff a break. You may have to come back. At this point,
I gotta come back too.
Madam Clerk, at this point, do you need everyone to come back?